Hey everyone, welcome back to Indicted TV. I'm your host Negra. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. Before we start, you already know, quick shout out to my sponsor, Royalty Honey. Keep it hard, guys. And of course, if you do not want to be on my show and you want to stay home, make sure you hire Attorney Rosenberg. On today's episode, we have Chino Mike. Chino Mike, welcome to Indicted TV.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, of course. Thank you for coming. You know, we had to get the yes first.
Oh, yeah.
He said, oh, yeah. Well, we could start. Tell me where you're from. I don't mean the gang. You know, where you grew up. How was the inside of your house? Brothers, sisters, stuff like that. Parents.
Okay. Well, I grew up in the city of Chino. Grew up in the neighborhood. Broken family, drugs, alcohol.
As far as like your parents.
Yeah. Okay. The whole neighborhood thing. You know. So, grew up in the neighborhood in the '90s. You know, just never wanted to be home because the situation at home wasn't that pleasant. So, started hanging out with the fellas. We started getting older. Started getting in trouble. Everybody's coming from the same background.
Well, what age did you start to actually like get in trouble? Like where you started seeing like, okay, me van a gustar las calles. You get what I'm saying?
I started hanging out in the streets probably about 10. And then by the time I was 13, I had my first felony.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
So tell us about how you got your first felony.
Well, I was just a little travieso. I was watching the A-Team one day, and I used to love that show. And I seen
what
them.
What show was it again?
The A-Team.
A-Team.
With, those Mr. T and all them. Yeah.
Okay.
So I seen them make a zip gun on TV, and I said, I could do that.
Oh, man.
So I started around making zip guns because I was too young to have, to be able to buy a gun myself. I was 13. So I started in the backyard. My dad had a shop in the back. So started making zip guns, and I got caught with it one day. And
a zip gun.
Yeah. So it was just a little pipe and a rubber band, a clothes hanger, and a bullet. A one-hitter quitter.
Well, I'm glad you explained exactly what it was, because I'm like, what the freak is a zip gun?
Yeah, just a homemade throwaway, one-time use.
Guys, do not make it at home, and do not try this at home.
Yeah.
So you got caught. How did you get caught? Was it at school or like?
We were coming back from the LA County Fair. We got back home. It was late. One of my friends came and picked me up on his bike. We were going to his house. Middle of the night, kids. So right away we get pulled over, and I didn't have enough time to throw it, so I got caught with it.
Oh wow, a zip gun!
So my first felony: manufacturing and possession of a loaded firearm.
Oh man, that is intense.
Yeah. So.
Did you go to Juvenile Hall?
I went to Juvenile Hall.
What Juvenile Hall did you go to?
San Bernardino County.
Ah,
yeah,
how was that experience? Tell me actually how you felt when, like, you guys got pulled over. You're on because you said you were on your bikes, right?
Yeah.
And the cops, like, when you got handcuffs, like, how did you, like, how were you feeling?
Well, it was just, I don't know. I mean, it was adrenaline rush, of course. You always in the neighborhood, everybody's getting busted, so it's like kind of like cool. I got busted in a way because now I'm earning my stripes, as you would say, in the streets. And so it was, it was just kind of like, shit, well, here we go. And end up in San Bernardino Juvenile Hall. Since it was my first offense, they only kept me a few days and then released me to my parents. And then I had to go to court and all that stuff, and ended up getting probation.
I was going to say, did you
just
get probation?
My first time. So,
tell me about your even if it was just a few days, like your experience in the Juvenile Hall, like, how was it? Like, how did you get treated? Like, where were the other kids?
It was nothing. No, it was nothing because it was my first time. I was, what do you call it? You do the first, like, I think it was like 3 days and like a orientation. So pretty much slam down. I didn't get to see nothing or nobody. Yeah.
Okay. You were just in your head, basically.
Yeah, just waiting to see what was going to happen.
Did you feel like, fuck, am I going to go home? Were you kind of like nervous?
Well, kind of like, what's going to happen? Because I've never been to the system before.
And you're 10.
No, 13.
13.
Yeah, so I was just like, what's going to happen next? So
wow.
They said, all right, your family's here to get you. And they came and got me out and took me home. And
at least your parents, you said, right now that you said your parents came to get you, at least they came to get you regardless of whatever situation was going on with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, I mean, they could have just said, okay, we're on our way, and just got stuck and never went,
Yeah.
And then you have to be there, or probably gone to like a placement. Not because because you were causing more problems, but because you didn't have anybody to come get you.
No family connections. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that was good, right? Regardless. So you got home, and what happened?
Well, they were just disappointed, of course, and a little angry and stuff. But I still kept hanging out with the fellas and still kept getting in trouble. Even more. So by the time I was 15, I already had 5 gun convictions.
Real guns, not
real
the
guns.
fucking...
Yeah, no more zip guns. So I kept going to juvenile hall, doing juvenile hall time. And then by the time I was 15, I was charged with murder and 3 attempted murders and a gang-related shooting.
Oh my goodness! At 15 years old.
So
how long did you fight your case? Did you ever go like to the LA juvenile halls?
No, always San Bernardino. So by the time I was charged with that, I was already a regular at juvenile hall. I had already toured all the units and all that shit, and
you already had friends there.
Yeah, I already had friends there. So now I'm in high power fighting a murder case, and I fought that for I think a little over a year.
How was that year for you?
It was a little scary because I was looking at juvenile life.
Which is 25.
Yeah, until 25. Well, they try to do a fit and proper to sentence me as an adult. But because I was 15 and I turned 16 a month and a half later, 2 months later, they couldn't try me as an adult. So I got lucky. So I was just looking at a juvenile life. So they had me and a bunch of my friends, and I was already going down because one of my co-defendants was testifying against me. And so I said, well, there's no point in all of us going, I'll just take a deal, and it cut everybody loose.
Oh, wow. You took one for the team.
Yeah, I took one for the team, but it was more because the ballistic reports came back that it was my firearm that was the one responsible for that. So I said, well.
Hey, at least you took accountability and you didn't, I mean, obviously maybe in your head, like, you know, I know you were probably like, you know, you're going through so much and you're going to lose all these years of your life. And you could have been like, no, and just took it a trial or whatever, you know, but you definitely took accountability. And because, I mean, there's a lot of children that don't, you know, like because they're scared and you didn't tell on anybody else, even though somebody else was already telling on you. But, you know, it always could be so more intense for each other. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So what ended up happening?
Well, I got sentenced to the youth authority for I took the deal for manslaughter because the victim was 21, I was 15.
He was older.
They were from out of town in my neighborhood. They're the instigators in the situation. There was witnesses, I guess the neighbors.
So that helped.
It helped me. So it helped because it was more of a self-defense type of situation. But in California, there's no such thing as self-defense, especially if you're a known gang member and you're a kid and you're carrying a loaded firearm.
And you already have all these firearms.
Yeah. So there was no relief for that. But the court kind of understood that, you know, I was put in a corner and, you know, I reacted.
Hey, thank God, though.
Yeah.
That, you know, God was on your side.
Yes, very lucky because I got a lot of friends that are from then still in there.
Pobres, I get it.
Just because they were 16 already or whatever. So
when they told you you're gonna do how many years you said?
Well, they gave me a minimum of 4 years for the mass slaughter, but it was up in the youth authority. You got to go to board every year. Once you do so many years, I think I had to do a minimum of like 4 years. The time in juvenile hall didn't count, so that was another thing that sucked because I just lost like 18 months of credit. So, you know, I just did my time. I did 7 years, I think it was. I got out for I think 8 or 9 months. Got busted with another gun.
Oh my goodness! Well, wait, we'll get there. Let's go back to you're getting sentenced and you're going to YA.
Yeah.
Where did you go? Like, tell me about your YA experience.
Okay, so I...
you know I'm always going to ask you what was the worst thing you saw.
Oh, man, I seen everything. So I got sentenced to YA, went from San Bernardino Juvenile Hall to SRCC in Norwalk through the orientation process. Got, orientated, all that stuff, and then they sent me to Nellis.
Okay.
So that was like gladiator school.
Tell me about that experience.
Nellis was off the hook in the 90s. Fred C. Nellis and like YTS and Chino. Crazy. I seen everything. I actually got to meet Joseph Raymond Lucero. I don't know if you know who that is.
He's like an actor, no?
Creeper from the Mayans. We were together in Nellis together. So met a lot of good people. It was a lot of crazy times. Ups and downs. It was wild, wild west back then. It was gang banging. didn't really matter.
Did you really fight? Did you fight?
Well,
Were you a super firme? Or did you go? Did they make you live?
Super firme crew.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I always, get along with a lot of people, and I did what I had to do and stuff. And
of course.
So we just, it was good and bad,
Like everywhere.
We had good memories. I'm still in touch with a lot of my boys that I was in YA with back in Dallas and
shout out to
YTS.
them.
Yeah, my boy Dopey from CYA Entertainment. We did all the 90s together.
Well, hopefully they're watching, and you guys are gonna have to come on my show. You know?
Oh yeah, Dopey, he's got to come. Yeah, he's doing it. So through them, we got our whole YA baby crew that we still keep in touch with. We go to Boys Republic in Chino Hills now, and go talk to the youth and try to just redirect them and inspire them.
It's the least we could do.
Yes.
Right. So we're back. We're going back to YA. You said you were there for 4 years.
Well, I had a minimum of 4, but I did 7.
Oh my goodness! So you were catching in-houses.
Yeah. Well, no, because the first year didn't count. The first year and some change didn't count from the juvenile hall. So I had to start fresh once I got to YA.
Got it.
And then I did get in trouble. I got a staff assault on a senior correctional officer.
Well, tell us about that.
Well, I was getting ready to come home, and I was a little anxious and a little nervous about coming home because I went in when I was 15. Now I'm 23, getting ready to come home, and just it was a lot of pressure. And so I got into this argument with this senior correctional officer, and it got really ugly. And he roughed me up. He handcuffed me, then roughed me up, and then he tackled me. And then when the other staff came in the office, they were picking me up. I kicked them.
That's what.
As soon as they picked me up, because I was already handcuffed, I said, "You motherfucker!" And kicked them. So I ended up catching a staff assault on that, and I was supposed to go home, and I didn't get to come home as planned. They made me wait another year or whatever. And so I eventually went back to board, and they finally let me go.
Did your family go visit you?
It was hard because my family was low income, and when I got sent at the end, ended up getting sent to Ventura because I graduated high school in there, and they were going to send me to Ventura to go to college. So I went to college in Ventura for a while. Oh,
good.
Yeah. So.
Tell me, what was the craziest thing you experienced there? Not saw. Yeah. I'm gonna ask you, what was the craziest thing you saw after?
Well, I mean, I've seen people get stabbed. I've seen people get beat up really bad. I've seen staff get beat up really bad. I've seen people try to jump over the fences and get tangled up in the razor wire and hanging in there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I've never heard that one yet. Yeah. I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah. So, and another good friend of mine to this day is Willie G from the Midnighters. He used to work at Nellis when I was there. So we still keep in touch to this day.
Oh, wow. So you met him in there and you guys kept
met
in
him
touch.
in there. Yeah. He was a reserve correctional officer, and he used to do performances for us to give back and stuff, like once a year and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah, tell me a little bit more about the razor wire, about him actually getting stuck there. Like, you saw him trying to go over?
Some crazy guy climbed a light pole and then tried to jump about 12 feet across the road over the razor wire and got tangled up, and it broke both his ankles and legs and all that stuff. He was all chopped up because that razor wire ain't no joke.
No, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy. I don't know.
I wonder how much stuff he was going through. Because, from other stories that I hear, there's a lot of people that actually, go through a lot.
Yeah.
That, they get picked on and things like that. And damn, for you to want to do that, it's like, man, you're really not okay. And I understand it.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're in basically prison with California's worst kids because YA was the last resort for the courts. All right, you're not learning in any of these programs or placements or juvenile halls, so we're going to send you to YA.
Well, that's what they always say. YA babies are the worst.
Yeah, yeah, we're bad.
No, I get it. So tell me, what was the craziest thing you did? And it doesn't have to be like, oh, you stuck somebody or anything. Just it could be anything.
Well, I was always the dope man, so I was the one that used to flood the place with dope. So I was making money as a young kid in there.
You weren't a user?
No, I wasn't a user. I mean, I experimented a little bit, but I was more about money. My thing was money. So everybody would tell you this. And Mike had this place flooded. I had staff on payroll, all that shit.
Oh, and you're young still.
And I was still young.
Wow, so you're a super feeder man.
Yes. Yeah, we had everything. We had bottles of liquor. We had cartons of cigarettes. We had, I mean, you name it, we had it.
You were living it up, doing your thing.
Living it
I
up.
mean, I know, I understand it. Me personally, I understand it. Maybe other people, like some of the viewers, don't get it. But you know, when you're in there, you got to make the best of whatever you could to make your time faster. To, you know, sometimes they don't have families to, like, you know, to take care of them and things like that. So you got to do what you got to do, you know. And
that's how I survived. That's how I made my money. That's how I ate. That's how I took care of myself because my family couldn't.
Wow. You know, you're good still, and you're doing amazing.
You're trying.
Hey, that's all we could do is try. So you said you got out. You did how many years?
I did 7.
You did 7 years. 7 years. You got out. What happened? What did you do? Because you're young still, and your mentality is like a disaster.
Yeah. So I came out. I'm in YA with all these, you know, youth and stuff. So I went in at 15. I still came out with a 15 mentality,
For sure.
15-year-old's mentality. Being older, but you know, I still was gang active. I was still in the streets. I was still hustling. I was still selling dope. Still gang banging.
How long were you out for?
I was out. I think it was like 9 months.
Hey, you made it longer than a lot of people.
9 months, and then I got busted with another strap. My house got raided. I was flushing the dope, but I couldn't flush the pistol, and didn't have enough time. They got me with another.
And you were on probation. You were on parole.
Parole. Yeah, YA parole. So I got a violation. Did a county lid.
So tell me about, because that was your first time going to the actual county. And you were in San Bernardino County.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience, because obviously you went from YA where the rules are completely different, and now you get on and you've done all this time. So in your head, you're like, you know, I could do it. Or like, you know, you're YA, baby. Wow, that's fool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You go there and shit's completely different.
Completely different.
Tell me about that experience.
I've just been one that's always been able to adapt. So once I got there, I was scoping it out, peeping out how things went. And of course, I run into all my homeboys and homies from everywhere that I know. So it was just like,
quick.
Another just another day.
Another just adjusting to a different location.
Yeah, it's just, you know, so did my little 6 months, and then from there, YA came and picked me up. I said, you ain't going nowhere. It's a violation, so I had to go do a year flat in YTS.
So how did you feel after like going back to YA? You're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
how was it? Was the time different because of your mentality now, or did you think like, oh, I already been here, I'm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it was. I mean, it was cool. We were mostly on lockdown because at that time, that's when they killed Miss Baker at YTS, and so it was like a whole year lockdown.
You know what? I kind of remember that. I remember my boy, rest in peace, Demon. He was a YA baby. You know, since he did the whole thing, and I remember him saying that. Like, I remember, it's been a long time, but that really does. I remember him saying that, like, oh, when they killed the Miss Baker lady or whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, YA was crazy. Like, the kids don't care in there. There was, at YTS, because it was 18 and over YA, there was juvenile lifers and regular lifers, too, that once they finished their 25, when they turned 25, then the state came and picked them up.
Sucks,
so it was crazy. There was people in there that had nothing to lose, so it was
wild.
It was wild. So
how was the food different there compared to the actual prison?
Same. Yeah. You would think it'd be better. Yeah, spreads all day long.
Well, tell me, what is your favorite spread? Now that we're talking about it.
Of course, you get your ramens, you get your sauces, your squeezed cheese, your chicharrones, your flaming hot Cheetos. Shout out to my boy Richard Montanez for creating that flaming hot Cheetos. The jalapenos. I mean, people. Were
you the cook or did you have somebody else?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because I know you're the money guy, so I'm sure you had to pay people to make your food.
Yeah, no, we all used to get down together. We're all homies and shit.
Yeah.
We never thought I was better or anything different than anybody else. So,
did you ever make somebody leva?
Did I ever make somebody leva? No.
That just came to my head, so I was like, oh, let me say
There's enough people in there that wanted to be the big fucking, so let them do their thing. I was just doing my thing.
Okay. I just popped in my head, so why not,
Yeah, no, I've never been that guy that's all politicked out or whatever. I roll with the flow, and that's it.
I feel like that's the best way, especially when you have so much time, like, I mean, well, there's some, you obviously want to make it a career, then that's completely different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Completely different. But if you're going to come home, like, why do that to yourself? Because that's like a bigger chance of you maybe not ever coming home.
Yeah. I just seen too much, just shit changes right away, and you put yourself in that predicament and you're not on the right crew at that time, then, it gets all bad.
Because it always cycles. Yeah. That sucks. It really does, All right, so you did your whole county, you did your whole year.
Yeah.
You got out.
Yeah.
And what happened? How old were you at this time?
25.
Okay, so you're already done with the whole juvenile life shit.
Yeah.
You couldn't do no more YA time.
That was it. YA was maxed out.
Yes.
Yeah, discharged, dishonorable discharge or whatever from YA, whatever. So I'm out, I'm free, so I'm like, all right, nobody could tell me shit no more. Nobody could I'm not on parole. So I was running amok.
Did you have kids? Did you have girlfriends?
Well, yeah.
Throughout these years.
When I was out for those 8 months, I met my son's mom, and right away she got pregnant, and I got busted before my son was born. So I had to go through all that. By the time I came home, she had already moved on, and so I had a co-parent. She moved to Ventura, so it made it like super difficult.
Yeah.
But I did my best.
You got out. You were out for another 8 months. Mm-hmm. So technically, you've only really been out like almost 2 years in total.
Yeah.
So what did you go back? Was this a whole completely new charge, a new case?
Yes. Yeah.
Tell us.
At that time, let me see. That was like by the time I got out, it was like 2001. Some people had owed me some money, so I went to go collect because I was busted. They thought, you weren't
going to get it.
Yeah.
Ah.
And so they didn't have the money, and they worked for a dealership. And they said, look, we don't have the money, but we'll give you this truck right now. You can use the truck. We'll get the money, bring the truck back. And
so it worked out kind of a little bit, right?
Kind of. Well, little did I know that this guy, he disappeared in the process of waiting for him to come back to me. And so the car got marked as stolen. So I'm cruising around thinking I'm legit. And I get pulled over. I got my son with me. I'm taking him to the movies. I get pulled over, and they run the truck, and it's stolen. I'm like,
they set you up.
So then back to the county jail and some
with your baby. GTA. They took your baby.
Yeah, well, they were cool enough to let me call a friend.
Thank God.
And one of my friends, she came and got my son for me.
So your next charge was GTA.
GTA.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So what happened?
It was my first state case, so I got like 16 months with a half or something like that.
Oh, they sent you to prison.
Yeah, I went to prison. Yeah. So
That's intense. I've never heard of anybody going to prison for GTA unless you have like.
Well, I already had that long, crazy record by then, so they were like,
I guess that makes. Yeah, they charge you for your being a career criminal type of vibe, right?
So I went to Wasco, and from Wasco I went to Ironwood.
So tell me about your, you got charged, you got like 18 months or whatever, and you get sentenced to your first actual adult prison.
Yeah, I went to Ironwood. It was same shit. I'm there with about 15 of my homeboys from my neighborhood.
Oh, you're just chilling.
Homies from everywhere that I know. All the homies from Ontario. All the homies from Pomona and shit. So, we all knew each other. So it was just another day. Another address.
Wow.
So did my time, got out. I was out for like 2 months. Caught another case, dope case. Went back and
same thing.
Just same thing.
What would you say was the craziest?
Went back to Ironwood.
What was the craziest thing you saw in your adult?
Oh, I seen people getting stabbed, people butchered, people shot, all that stuff.
Well, did they have cell phones then already?
No, they didn't have cell phones back then.
Were you still the money getter while you?
No, when I got there, no, because I had just gotten there. The homies already had it all locked in and stuff, and I wasn't getting visits and stuff. So
I was just about to ask you. So you didn't even have a pen pal?
No,
no girls.
I didn't get a chance. No,
oh man.
Well, they come and go. They come for a couple months and they disappear.
But you did though, at least here and there. Yeah. You'll get them from the homies, like right to this girl,
or somebody just looks you up and shoots you a quick little letter and then
their pictures and stuff.
Yeah, some pictures.
I mean, it used to make you happy when you used to receive them. Like it'll keep your mind entertained at least for a little bit,
Yeah, and the homies send pictures. Everybody's partying, having a good time. You used to love that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just kept going in and out. I did 3 prison terms, so 2 terms in
What was
Ironwood.
the longest prison term?
Oh, it wasn't that long. It was the longest they gave me was 3 with half. And
What was the nicest thing you experienced throughout your whole, career of being in and out? I say career like it's a career, right? I mean, but it is, right?
the nicest thing,
The nicest thing that actually you felt a little bit of love. Not everything could be super cold.
yeah. Well, I want to say the greatest thing that ever happened is after I got indicted in the feds. So
Oh wait, you went back. You went to the feds.
yeah, I did the whole 5. I did juvenile hall.
So you got out of the state
juvenile
prison.
hall, YA, county, state, and feds. I did 27 years altogether.
Oh wow. Okay, so you got out of you already did your state stuff.
Yeah.
Right. You came home,
Yeah.
and then what?
So I had gotten arrested in 2009 for a hit and run on a cop in Ontario. So I'm fighting my case
In the state.
in the state.
Okay.
I maxed out my state parole, so I was able to finally get bail because I already
Always had
maxed it
parole
out.
holds, yeah.
Yeah, because I always had parole holds. So once I maxed it out, I bailed out. Was fighting my case. And it was weird because I was going to court and I was telling my attorney, I had a really good attorney, and we're sitting in the courtroom, and I was telling him, I said, those people in the chairs over there, they don't look like they belong in the audience. So they look like fucking feds. He's like, you're tripping. He
Because
goes,
you never actually had a real job.
huh?
You never had a job.
Not really. I mean, I got in the union when I was in 1999. I was a kid. And I would randomly work. When I came home for a few months, I would always be out. I never made it out past 11 months when I was out.
Got it.
So I'd go work for a few months, and it was just a job. Like I didn't really know what I had.
Yeah.
So I'm fighting this case. I'm telling this guy that these people don't look like they belong in here. He's like, you're tripping. I said, no, those are fucking feds. He goes, nah. So the DA, they were trying to give me another life sentence because they were trying to strike me out. I fought 3 strikes, I think.
So you had 3 strikes.
I already had 3 strikes because I had 2 gang enhancements, the 187.22 A and B, which is a terrorist street gang act. So they were trying to strike me out on those 2 priors, and then with this, it was a hit and run on a cop. So we're fighting it, and the lawyer comes back and says, hey, they're offering you, I think it was like 16 months with half or something, or 3 years with half or something. And it was 16 months. Actually, I did the 3, 2, and then 16 with half at the end. I was like, that don't sound right. Why are they offering me this deal? I mean, they're going to strike me out, right? And I was like, nah, those are feds. So I signed a deal before they changed their mind, and I got an OR, so they let me stay out for a couple months to get my shit together. But I didn't. What I realize now is they let me out because they already had us. The feds already had us.
Wanted to watch you a little more.
They already had us, so they wanted to get us more because they knew I was
running around
directly
wild.
Connected with a lot of people. So they were like, let him out and let's see where he goes and what he does, and let's wrap up this case. So they let me out. Took care of business, turned myself back in, went and finished my time. I went to Centinela, did just a few months to finish it off with the time credit, and then I came home. I was out like just a few months, and then the feds came and got us. They hit Ontario in April, and then in June they came and got us.
I got busted in June too. Wait, ending of May, yeah.
June 2010. So it was a big indictment, organized crime and all that stuff.
Was it was it a RICO as well?
It wasn't. They didn't actually charge us with RICO. Why? I don't know, because the same indictment, I was in the same indictment as the homies from Ontario, and that was a RICO case. So I was like, I wonder why they're not charging us RICO. But I was like, cool, shit.
No, it was better.
Yeah, it was better. But because of my criminal history, even though in a 2-year investigation, they had me under surveillance for 2 years, 24 hours a day, Title III wiretaps. I mean, they went all out on me and one of my boys. So in 2 years, all they got me for was 38 grams of actual methamphetamine. But just on those 38 grams, I was looking at like 28 years.
Because of your sentencing guidelines.
Guidelines, yeah. Because, it's like a peachy folder. You just say what you got busted for, what's your criminal history, and here you are.
Yeah, it's just based on your criminal history.
I was like at 200 and something, 60 some months, because they had me as like a leader organizer. They had me enhancements for conspiring to import narcotics into state correctional facilities. I mean, they had all kinds of shit. And so they had a bunch of my co-defendants cooperating. So
and it's crazy because in the feds, you kind of don't really know who the heck is cooperating right away.
I knew right away because our first day in our indictment, when they took us from Chino, they took us straight to Riverside Federal Courthouse to arraign us, and my neighbors were sitting in the public seating while all of us, like
that's how you
18
knew.
of us,
Yeah.
were all handcuffed in a federal bus. So I said, "Got you, mother." And then so there was more after that we found out about, but
Yeah.
So everybody started taking deals. Everybody got deals. They split the case out of like 40 or 50 of us. They gave half. They charged them in state. They all got like drug court, and then the other half that they hated, we all got federal time.
So what were your actual? What did you actually get indicted for? Like, what was your?
So it was a 38 grams plus. I was on the farthest criminal history. What was it, like 6 or something like that? The very far end. So I was looking like almost. It was 28 years with the enhancements and all that stuff.
Wow.
And so we all fought our case to the very end. Everybody took their deals. So it was just me and my boy, the number 1 on my case. I was like the number 3. And then another homie that was below us, he got busted with a gun. So we were the last ones fighting our cases. So once we got to MDC, they offered the homie his deal, and he said, "All right, let's all take our deals now." We had to hold out, you know.
So yeah, no. Sometimes certain ones have to hold out to see what
because
is really going on.
you don't want to. What do you call it? What is that word when you? Like by me taking a deal, it could make my boy
worse,
guilty on certain charges.
Yeah,
so,
you got to actually read the words of everything. Like I remember when they gave me my first plea, I sent it to the homie, right? And he's like, "No, make sure you switch this word to this word and this word to this word."
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Paperwork's a mother.
Yeah. Well, it was just what they wanted me to, it was nothing like bad or whatever, but it's just like the wording. You know what I'm saying? So tell me about MDC. Tell me about your experience at MDC, because that's an experience itself.
Oh, yeah. So
what floor were you on?
I was on 9 South.
Oh, you were in the South Side.
Yeah,
so
9 South.
You really didn't have, you were with the girls next door.
The girls were next door. So all the homies would be talking to the girls through the door,
peephole?
to the little peephole, the keyhole. I was on 9 South, and then I ended up, I got in trouble, and I got moved to. I went to the shoe, and then from the shoe, I ended up. I think it was 7 South. I think it was.
Oh, so you were only in the shoe in the 8 North one time.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about that, because being in the South is kind of a little different than being in the North.
Yeah.
Because in the North, there's way more action.
Yeah.
And I don't mean action with the girls, just in general. There's
everybody's fishing up and down.
Everybody's more stuff going on.
Yeah, you got the girls sending us stuff in the shoe.
I remember I flooded the shoe.
Yeah.
And I was un señor ahí está, and I was like, he was pissed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was fishing all day long. The girls were sending stuff to the shoe for us.
Like food? Did you ever eat the burritos?
Yeah, burritos. I mean, cheesecakes, all that shit. And I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Different experience, right?
Yeah, different.
Definitely different.
Yeah.
Como que el tiempo, you speak Spanish, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Like time passes so fast while you're there.
Yeah.
And even like the visits, like I'm not saying your actual visit, but even when you go talk to your attorney, like you see everybody, and it's I'm sitting here, you're sitting there, and it's like mixed, like girls and guys, and that's an experience itself, because I mean that doesn't really ever happen when you go to other places, you know.
And it was crazy because like when I first got indicted, they had us in San Bernardino, and for the first time ever, I made it to like the workers unit. So I was like, fuck it, San Bernardino sucks, you're gonna starve in there unless you got money. Let me get in the kitchen so I can at least hustle and eat. So I make it to the workers unit, and next morning, all the red suiters are going to the yard. And I'm in the day room, and every single one of them see me in there. Hey, what's up, rascal? Hey, homeboy, all right. So all it took was the sheriffs to look at them, to look at me, and get this out of here.
Oh, no, they ruined it for you.
Sent me back, slam me down with all those dudes. I'm like, damn, there goes that.
That sucks.
So those are all the boys I got busted with.
Did you have a girlfriend?
Huh?
Did you have a girlfriend?
No. I was with my daughter's mom at this time, and she got indicted with me.
Oh, she was there.
She was there. She got like after like a short time they let her out because she had just had my baby 2 weeks before. So
that was nice.
The court let her out, and they kind of like she had bond or whatever they called it in the feds, and they ended up doing like a special order. They separated us where we had no contact whatsoever.
Because that's kind of like sometimes like when you have your
they
wife.
didn't want me coaching her. They said
when you have like a significant other and you're in the feds, like you have communication. You have like your visits. Like it was like on Wednesdays, like the marriage people, the people that were married will have their own visits. It was kind of like a trip.
Yeah, it was cool at first, but then once the U.S. Attorney's Office said no, we want zero because we were going to go to trial. And they were trying to break me. They were like, hey, we got your mom, we got your baby's mom, we got your brother, we got everybody.
Oh, man.
So you're going to finally, work with us. And I told them, guys, I ain't working with shit.
Yeah.
And so they put that order. I couldn't see my daughter. I couldn't see her. Had zero contact. And that just ruined, everything. And, years later, she ended up moving on, like a year and a half later. The feds used all kinds of stuff to influence her decisions on that, and that was it. So she ended up taking off, and for 6 years I didn't know where her or my daughter were.
So what did you get sentenced to? How many months?
I ended up getting 130 months. 130 months out of the whatever the 20 some years.
Yeah, because they always say like they always say like the worst of the worst.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, if you go to trial, I definitely would have got that. Yeah, there was no way. There was no way. They had pole cameras around the block watching my house. It was like there was crazy. No way. I'm like, you guys wasted this much money following me. I said, don't you got bigger people to?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I felt the same way. Like, bro, I'm not even that serious at all.
Yeah. So I got all that time. I did like another 8.5 years.
So you did 8.5 years. Tell me, where did you go?
So from MDCLA, I got sent to USP Lompoc.
Lompoc.
Yeah. So
tell me about that experience.
It was different. I wasn't used to federal stuff because it's a whole different ball game.
For the people that don't know, tell us what's the difference.
Well, in the state, it's just all the homies, it's the whites, the blacks, and pretty much that's it. You got your others. You get in the feds, you got all these different cars. You got people from all over the United States in there.
Because you get sent everywhere.
Everywhere. I was in there with pirates from fucking Somalia, I was, what's his name was there? Jeremy Meeks, the guy that became famous as a model based on his mugshot picture.
Oh, I know. I know which one you're talking about.
He's got the green eyes.
Yeah.
He's
like a Fashion Nova one too.
Yeah, I ended up running to Gorilla Black. I became really good friends with Harry O, the founder of Death Row Records. I was with him. We became really good friends, and we're still friends to this day.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just different. You got different cars. You got all these different people from all over.
It's a little bit more open, kind of, you feel?
A little bit more open. You could do a little bit more stuff.
The food?
The food, no. I mean, for the most part, the feds now is like the state. The homies fucking took over that shit, and it's just like the state.
Yeah.
At least here in California, in different states, smaller numbers and stuff, but it's pretty much the same. But there's just more stuff to do. At least at Lompoc, there was more stuff to do.
As far as like what?
They had big hobby shop. They had big education department. Big ass yard, huge yard. So they had cable weights out there. So it was a little bit different, a little bit more freedom than what you would be in the state.
Especially, it's healthier for the mind as well.
Somewhat. I mean, there's still a lot of politics. There's still a lot of madness going on in there. There was riots and all that stuff when I was there. So.
Oh wait, I didn't ask you about any riots. Tell me about your first experience with the riot.
Well, being in riots in YA, riots in the county, riots in the state. It's riots.
And you participated. Participated.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you felt like the first time when you're just like you're like in the.
You just see shit pop off. You got that adrenaline rush. You jump up and you just run to wherever. If it's our people, then you run up in there and just stand your ground.
So I guess there is riots in every prison.
Everywhere, yeah. Yeah.
So you went to Lompoc. That was their first federal prison you went to.
Yeah, first.
And how long did you do there?
I did all my time in Lompoc.
Oh, your whole 9 years, you said?
Well, it was 8.5. So I did the first 18 months in the county in NBC. Then I got to Lompoc. Well, I went to Victorville first to orientation, all that stuff, and then got eventually sent to Lompoc. I was at Lompoc in the USP I want to say like 5 years maybe.
Because I had a lot of homies there.
Yeah.
Because obviously we were, indicted
yeah.
around the same time.
Yeah, yeah. So when I was there, I was a little bit bitter. I was, like, I got a deal on this, on this case. I should have got less. It was only 38 grams. That all drugs minus 2 law came into effect. I didn't get no relief off of that. And so I was like, and so I'm trying to appeal my case. I'm in the law library, and the education staff pulls me into the office, say, hey, we got to interview real quick about what programs you want to take, what you're interested in. And since I was already there, a few months, so they're like 4 months already probably, and I already knew what they had, and it's just all paper that says Lompoc, and it doesn't mean shit, right? So I said, well, what do you guys got? And they said, well, we got this, we got that, we got this. And I said, well, this is what I do for a living. I'm a union welder. I make this much money, and if you have anything that can match it or top it, I'm all in. But if you don't, I'm sorry, but I'm right now focused on my appeal and trying to get out of here. And so the lady, she was a little snotty CO. She was like, well, maybe you should tell our supervisor that our programs aren't adequate enough for you.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, whatever. Are we done? I got to go back and finish this appeal.
Hey, right now you kind of said, like, you were bitter. You were a little bitter because, you felt. And I've heard a lot of people say that, not any of my interviewees, but like I've heard like, that wasn't fair. Like I didn't ever get being caught or anything. I shouldn't have gone this, It's because of people told, And actually not really sitting back. And it's like most of the time, it's not because somebody told on you. It's because you were career. You have been in prison so many times and people don't want to take accountability for what things that they do and always want to blame. And they feel like that, you get yourself more in a deeper hole in your brain within yourself, like trying to blame and not taking accountability. So it makes you feel how you said, like a little, you were bitter. Like,
well, I knew I had it coming. I knew, I made those choices and I knew it, but I was like, damn, I'm getting more time than all these pedophiles, and all I did was a nonviolent, small time, some transactions. So I'm like, what? This doesn't make sense. These guys are molesting and raping little kids, and they're getting only 2 years, and I'm like, they're trying to give me a life sentence for 38 fucking grams.
I had way less, and I got 60, right? 60 months, and I was in before a lot, and I was out. They were out before me.
Yeah.
It's just like...
So the informants in my case, my neighbors, right? So they were fighting their case. They were, of course, cooperating. So they were fighting it from outside, and they were still providing information on other cases. Well, we're fighting our case, and I get wind that the husband comes home one day and finds the wife with the boyfriend. So he is armed, and he fires on the guy. He has a big standoff with the Chino Police Department, SWAT team, and all that.
Oh, my goodness.
He surrenders eventually, and he gets his time. He goes.
And he was one of the informants.
Yeah, so he's an informant. He's getting away. We're still fighting our case. He's busted in the state now for this case, and they're still providing information on our case.
Wow.
He gets less time for doing that in the state, and is out before I could even get out on the third.
Yeah, so super pissed.
Yeah, so I was like, what the She got busted for still selling dope and doing shit. And they were still using these people as informants. I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
Isn't that so crazy?
Yeah. So anyway, I was mad. So I'm fighting. I'm fighting all this shit. So one day we're on something that happened somewhere in the yard of the institution somewhere. So we're stuck in the education department trying to catch the move to go back to the unit. The main supervisor comes in, and so we're just waiting. We're stuck, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll just throw it at him right now. So I told him, hey, excuse me, you got a second? He was like, yeah, sure. What's up? I said, just want to know, we could talk, about some programs and stuff. So he's like, yeah, come in the office. So I had one of the homies with me. I said, come on. So we're talking. I said, no disrespect to your education department, but maybe you guys should start focusing on programs that are more geared towards the general population of this yard now. And I mean, back in the days, I understand you had people in here for fraud, people from like Wall Street type people, lawyers and government officials and stuff like that. And stockbroking, real estate classes and all these other classes you guys teach are, for that kind of people. But now you got all the homies in here. Half these dudes don't even got a GED. Half of them can't even read. So maybe you should teach them something that they can actually do when they come home so they can provide for their families and stuff. He goes, what do you got in mind? I said, well, I'm a union welder. I'm in the carpenters union.
Like 2 months every time you're out.
Yeah. But I was still
No, I get it. I'm
for years, but I was never out for a long time.
But you knew. No, I'm just clowning. I'm just clowning.
He goes, well, what can you put together for me? Can you put together a plan for me?
Oh, that was very nice.
So I said, yeah. So I wrote a little rough draft. I sent it to him. He liked it. He was like, can you put together a formal program? And I said, yeah, maybe. So I ended up writing a curriculum, a plan of operation, a budget. We turned it into the warden. The warden signed off on it. Went to region. Region signed off on it, and ended up going to Washington, D.C., where the director signed off on my program. They gave us like $250,000.
How cool is that? So you made that happen.
I started my own first ever nationally accredited welding program in a high security federal prison.
Wow. That's, some people will be like, oh, that's something. Yes, it's something to be proud of. Like you did that. You helped the guys for the other guys.
And it wasn't that easy. It took 3 years to make it happen. 3 years of fighting, 3 years of pulling teeth. 3 years.
Hey, but it kept you entertained.
Yeah, it did. It gave me something to do while I was fighting my appeals and stuff. And so once they finally approved it, and they called me to the office to say the money's coming.
How cool is that?
Congratulations. The money came. They said, now order everything you need. I ordered everything. And then we built, me and my peers, I picked some people from the yard, and we went and built the school ourselves.
How cool is
and
that?
Then I taught it for like 3 years.
Oh, that kept you going.
Yeah, so I got like 350 people certified before I left. I had the union. The union, even though I was a travieso, the union always loved me because I never up at work. So
nice.
They had my back. They used to come to Lompoc from LA and support me. And so this thing took off. It was the biggest program ever to happen in Lompoc. The highest success rate and the highest sign-up rate of all programs.
How cool is that?
Yeah, so I got published in an article, and after that one article, it's just the rest is history. So when I came home, got back in the union, went right back to work, and I said, you know what? If I was able to do that with my hands tied in there, I could do something more out here.
Yes.
And the main driving point for what I do is because my son started up, and I said, I don't want him to be like me. So
I get it.
I had a fight to get him back to.
Your oldest son.
Yeah, my oldest son. I got two. I got a 23-year-old son, and I got a 13-year-old daughter now. So I had to get him back. He was getting in trouble. I brought him home with me, and I told his mom, look, I'm going to take care of him now. So I got him in the union. So now he works with me in the union. He's making big money now. He's working on one of the biggest projects in LA as we speak.
How cool is that? Yes.
So
we recover.
Yeah. So, I mean, you never know when somebody's ready. So that's why you never give up on somebody.
That's right. I love that. That's so cool.
So I started No More Locked Doors.
That's something to be super proud about.
We have our official program through the Southwest Carpenters called the Brothers Keeper, which is a reentry program, like a boot camp, to give males and females an opportunity to get in the trade. And it doesn't matter about matter about your past record, what you've been through. They're not going to ask about your background. They're not going to run your name. They just want to know, are you ready to work? Do you want to do this kind of this trade? And if you're ready, then they'll take you in. How
cool is that?
Yeah, so that's one of the things we do. And then through all my friends in entertainment, and we got a lot of big actor friends like Danny Trejo, big supporter of mine. We got so many different friends that are doing their thing.
From our past.
Yeah, formerly incarcerated, from the neighborhoods and stuff. So everybody's using their platform now to help others, to help inspire, motivate, and encourage people that it's never too late.
And that's what you do now.
And that's what I do now.
And how long have you been out?
I've been out 5 years now.
Oh, it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, 5 years.
Well,
longest I've ever been out.
Good for you.
Yeah,
So tell me a little bit more about the No More Locked Doors. Like, how did that start?
So when I came home, I was like, well, I want to do something. I got to come up with this name, something that's going to stick. So it took me a while to come up with a name. I come up with all these other names. And he said, one day I just seen that like a commercial or something from Friday. And I said, No More Locked Doors. I said, everybody remembers Baby Joker.
Oh, yes,
Everybody knows that saying, No More Locked Doors. So I'm like, I want something cool, something funny, something that'll ring.
And it's very strong as well.
But something that's going to be the core of our mission. So No More Locked Doors, we're helping to keep people from being incarcerated by giving them opportunities. It doesn't matter what the opportunity is, whether it's trades, whether it's acting, whether it's people in music, whatever. I mean, we're opening doors that are usually closed to our people. So that's the whole concept behind No More Locked Doors.
And you've done that just in 5 years.
In 5 years, I started No More Locked Doors my first year out.
You were focused.
Yeah. So I went back to work with the union. I stacked my money, and with my own money, I started No More Locked Doors, and I fund all my shows, everything myself. And
your shows as far as what?
I do all kinds of benefit shows, and they're all fundraisers to help keep the mission going. And since we're so like we're growing, we got people from all kinds of different causes coming to us now, say, Mike, we support this, we support that. So now we help with cancer shows. We do a big autism acceptance show every year in April. We got my big toy drive coming up on November 25th. And the core of that is to give children who have parents still incarcerated toys for the holidays. Because I remember how hard it was on those kids, my kids, during the holidays being away. So
I love that. Yes.
So that's
so good.
So we're on our,
you should be really proud of yourself.
We're on our 4-year annual toy drive now. 4 years.
How cool is that? Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Is there anything else that you would want to share that you haven't shared?
Just everybody, we need everybody's support on what we do. I'm not a one-man army, even though I'm leading the charge, but I can't do it alone. So I need our people's support, people who can relate, or people who know that, it's important not to give up on some of our people who made mistakes, who not sure what they want to do with their lives, to show them. I use my story as a tool. I don't make no money off of my story. I don't make no money off of my shows personally. I just want to use my story as a tool to help motivate, inspire others. Because what I learned when I was teaching the welding program in prison is all the homies would be like, Mike, I can't get a job in the union. I'm like, why not? They're like, because I got a record. I said, what do you think I got? Mm-hmm. So that's what made me start the Building Trades Expo in prison. I'm like, well, it's one thing from everybody to hear it from me, but it's another if I bring all the reps in from all the trades and then have a career day, and they can all tell these people that it doesn't matter about your past. It matters about your future.
That's so cool. You could count on me in any way that I could help,
Okay. Well, we hope to see you there on the 25th. Come through. You guys want to set up a booth and whatever. We're going to have a lot of people, guests, celebrities, and influencers coming. So hopefully you guys can come and chop it up with everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you and my husband are,
You guys are going to know everybody there anyways. Everybody's going to be there that day. Yeah.
All right. Well, again, thank you for coming on my channel. I do appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And you say you don't have anything else to say?
No. Thank you guys for having me.
No, we're obviously going to plug in all your tags and stuff like that so people could see, Well, again, thank you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram.